European Union, the European Central Bank and the IMF is exactly hitting the Greek working class, unemployed and students the hardest. It is exactly because of the strength of their organisations and the strength of their will to fight back. Solidarity is our only weapon, and solidarity actually means that we need to fight here. As Karl Liebknecht, the German socialist, once said, our enemy is at home. And so the further we continue the strike action here, build the demonstrations and this kind of solidarity that we require, the more we can weaken our own government in order to strengthen the Greek resistance.
I'm not going to be able to join you, but I did think it was very important that union leaders in Britain express total solidarity with Greek trade unionists and Greek workers who are suffering such terrible attacks as a result of austerity programmes. PCS is leading the resistance in Britain to our form of austerity. We're fighting against job cuts, we're fighting to defend our pensions, and are hoping to take further national strike action on March the 28th. And we're showing solidarity with people in this country who are seeking to defend welfare, defend the right to education. But the attacks in Greece are on an altogether different level. Massive cuts in pay, hundreds of thousands of job cuts in the public sector, reductions in the national minimum wage, as well as huge attacks on welfare. And these attacks on Greek people, in the same way as we're dealing with them in the UK, show that the international markets are making the poorest and most vulnerable people across Europe pay the most extraordinary price for the follies of the rich elite at the top. That cannot be fair and it cannot be justified. In fact, in our view, it makes the economic situation worse to throw people out of work, cut their living standards and ensure that our economies grind to a halt rather than grow. So resistance to those austerity measures is important in Britain, is vital in Greece. And we send solidarity to tonight's meeting and to the people of Greece to say we are with you in your struggle, that we will always support those seeking to defend jobs, to defend working class people and communities, and to defend services. I wish you well at the meeting tonight. I hope this is an initiative that can grow solidarity with the Greek people, and PCS looks forward to not just fighting on behalf of people in the UK, but extending our international solidarity greetings to the people in Greece.
Την αντίδραση των παιδιών κατάλαβα την χημία, αμηχανία.
So our next speaker for today is Mark Campbell. He's lecturer at London Met and leading member of the Lecturers' Trade Union UCU and re-elected National Executive. Thank you.
First of all, I want to bring solidarity greetings from UCU to this meeting and also to our sisters and brothers in Greece. And I think the best way of showing solidarity, in my opinion, is when we actually fight at home. And with regards to that, UCU today at our NEC, we decided that in terms of the teachers' pension scheme, the strike that we've been involved in basically since last March, is that we are going to, and we put this out now, that we will come out on national strike on the March the 28th, provided that the PCS union, which is meeting on Monday, if their NEC votes to come out nationally, we will be coming out with them. I think that's actually quite important. But, given the issue with leadership, I'm sure this is clearly the case in Greece, we've got a few other positions as well, just to be on the safe side. Making us pay for a boss's crisis through austerity, where working class people suffer the consequences of their mess, is exactly the same situation that we've got here. And what we have to say is there is no reason for these cuts. Actually, if there is a problem in the economy, we know where the problem has come from. It's come from the bosses, it's come from the ruling class, and actually if anybody should be tightening their belts, it's them. And that's exactly the same position here. The idea that in a situation like this, we've got Tories and their little B team, the Liberals, actually talking about reducing the income tax that the rich pay in this country, while actually slashing our pensions, slashing our jobs, slashing our health service, is an absolute disgrace. And what we need to be doing now is actually fighting on all of those fronts. And the best way we can do that, and this is a lesson that I think we take from Greece, the best way we can do that is by taking united industrial action. Now that means at certain situations, some people have to give a lead. And I'm very proud of my union. We were the first to come out on strike last March. We're not a particularly large union, about 125,000. We came out in March, we came out in June, we came out in November, we will be out this month, and we will continue to fight while our class is being attacked to pay for their crises. And that's the sort of leadership we should be demanding of all of our unions. With regards to that, if you aren't in UCU, then I suggest, and if you aren't in NUT, and both of our unions are out on strike on the 28th in London, we will be putting picket lines up. If you are in unison, and you happen to work in a school, you should not cross that picket line. We have to stand strong together in order to fight back. This is the lessons we're getting, not just from Greece. These are the lessons we're getting from Egypt. These are the lessons we're getting from Chile. These are the lessons when we fight and we fight to win. We only do so when we do it on a united basis, but not a united basis of the dead. Okay, we don't want to unite on the basis we all sit there passively and say, we're waiting for somebody else to fight. We have to actually have the power of our convictions, and that means to lead, and that means to go forward and say, if we want to win, we have to fight, and we have to fight now, and we have to fight with everything we've got. That's all we can do, and I think if we have a successful strike on March the 28th, that is by far the best solidarity we can show to our sisters and brothers in Greece. Thank you.
What we saw in Greece was an occupation of a hospital where people said, actually, we are the working class people and we know how to run this hospital. And when we're thinking about a world that we want to win, that's what we need to look to. It's people who take the world in their own hands and don't listen to leaders, but listen to themselves and say, we know what we're doing, we should be in charge, we're going to be in charge. So solidarity to the Greek workers, but also a massive thank you for the Greek workers for getting me off my knees.
You know, in the beginning of the crisis, they told us that the fault, the cause for the crisis, it's the public sector in Greece, that it's crowded. They take a lot of money. They don't work enough. And many people thought that, okay, maybe with little cuts, it will be enough to avoid the bankruptcy of the country and bigger problems. It wasn't true. Now the biggest problem is in the private sector. They cut the salaries at least 20%. From the end of the May, they are going to abolish all the collective agreements. The workers will be subject to private contracts. Any owner can reduce the salary in the private sector to the basic salary that has been reduced from 22% from 751 euros to 586 euros. For the new workers under the age of 25, the basic salary will reduce to 510 euros. The unemployment benefits will be reduced to 360 euros. This is the reality of Greece. A total war against its workers. A total war. The majority, and I was one of them, I wanted to publish the newspaper that we knew how to publish. Because we wanted first to show to our bosses and to the society that we are able to publish a full newspaper better without managers, well-paid managers, with thousands of euros. What happens in Greece, it will happen very soon in Portugal, in Italy, in Spain, at the end, even in France, Germany, of course, in the United Kingdom. So, we must fight, and maybe we will be able, from this meeting, to arrange a big campaign against the debt, a pan-European campaign, and a big day of solidarity to Greek people, maybe even in Athens. Thank you very much.
Στους εργατικούς αγώνες συνήθως προκρίνεται η τευτική της αποσιώπησης. Δηλαδή όλο αυτό το διάστημα, τη διετία των μνημονίων, υπήρχαν πάρα πολλοί αγώνες. Πολύ λίγοι φτάσανε μέσα στη διετία των 8. Το ίδιο ισχύει και αυτή τη στιγμή με τη Χαλυβουργία. Η Χαλυβουργία έφτασε να λύνει το θέμα, για παράδειγμα, εσωδετή των 8 όταν είχε ήδη συμπληρώσει πάνω από ένα μήνα απεργίας.
Different people giving support to another people. It's same people giving support to its own self. Because what we see in the example of Greece and in other European countries, the imperialism, the capitalist system.
We are very proud to have you and to be in solidarity with you tonight. And I'd like to thank all the organizers for organizing a very meaningful and wonderful event. I have just come out of a 3-day hunger strike, as have my friends, and I'd like them to stand up and please give them a round of applause. We are looking for different alternatives to economic policies, outside of capitalist modernity, outside of capitalist culture, outside of capitalist exploitation. However, I am saying this tonight because I don't think that we can make our voices heard enough about what we want for the Middle East. And this means that we do not want intervention into the Middle East. We are on the Stop the War Coalition. We are against the intervention into the Middle East, into Syria, into Iran. We have problems with those states. We have problems with their elites and their rulers. However, we do not have problems or enmity with those people, with those nations. And I think that is why, I apologize, because of the hunger strike, I may be a little incoherent or all over the place. No. But I have a lot to say, and as you can see, I'm very full. So, finally, I'd like to close up by saying a very famous quote from Abdullah, insistence on socialism is insistence on humanity. And if we do not create a socialist world, I believe we will either all go towards barbarism and we will not have a world left. So we must all fight, I think, for a different world and a better world, and that is only through a socialist structure, a socialist society, socialist economics, and socialist solidarity. Thank you very much.
Wish me luck now, I have to leave you. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. To the city with my friends now. We're going to shake the gates of hell. گر کشته شدم برای مردم. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. منو در کوهی به خاک بسپار تا که لاله yes, the time has come for us to part. Resistance starts, no one shall part. Ya Habibi, help me sing for freedom, for victory to come to us. Así la gente cuando la vea, oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Así la gente cuando la vea, se dirá que bella flor.